They killed it back in 2006, and for almost 2 decades, muscle car fans all over the world have been asking the exact same question over and over again in comment sections, forums, and late-night garage conversations. What if Pontiac never actually died? What if this legendary nameplate got one more shot at glory in the modern era? Welcome back to Prime Car Culture, and today we are stepping inside a machine that does not officially exist anywhere on a dealership lot, an imagined reincarnation of one of America's most iconic performance nameplates, the all-new reimagined Pontiac GTO concept, built entirely from speculation, from pure passion, and from everything muscle car lovers have been dreaming about for the last 20 years. So buckle up and stay with us, because this walkaround is about to get seriously exciting from the very first second, and trust us, by the time we reach that engine bay, you are going to wish this thing was sitting in a real showroom somewhere waiting for you. Let's start right where every great muscle car story has always begun, right at the face of the machine. This wide, aggressive front grille instantly tells you this is not a soft, apologetic sedan built for silent commutes. This is a bold statement sitting right there on the road, a dark honeycomb mesh pattern stretched tightly across the entire nose, flanked on both sides by sharp, angular creases that pull your eyes directly toward the center emblem sitting proudly in the middle. And that stance alone is enough to let everyone driving beside you know that something seriously fast just pulled up next to them, long before they even notice the badge sitting quietly on the hood above it. Now take a closer look at these headlights. Slim, razor sharp, almost predatory in their overall shape and angle, a modern interpretation of the classic quad lamp design that made the original 1960s GTO so instantly recognizable on American roads, angled just enough to give this entire front end a menacing, focused expression, almost as if the car is already staring down the next open straightaway ahead of it, patiently waiting for the light to turn green. And right beneath those headlights, watch closely as this daytime running light signature comes alive, a thin, precise blade of LED light that traces the outer edge of the housing, giving the GTO its own unique lighting fingerprint, one you would instantly recognize even in a crowded, busy parking lot full of ordinary cars. And honestly, this is exactly the kind of small detail that separates a forgettable design from a truly iconic one that people remember for decades. Moving down toward the wheels now, and this is genuinely where things start to feel seriously premium. These multi-spoke alloy wheels are finished in a deep gunmetal tone, machined edges catching sunlight beautifully with every single rotation, wrapped tightly in low-profile performance rubber that hints at exactly what this car was engineered to do. Corner hard, brake late, and launch even harder off the line. And honestly, wheels like these do more to sell a muscle car's true personality than almost any other single panel on the entire body. And once you see them spinning in the sunlight, it is genuinely hard to look away. Right beside them, take a moment to appreciate the door handle, flush mounted into the bodywork, sculpted with clean, confident lines, finished in a satin chrome tone, a relatively small piece of hardware, sure, but one that feels genuinely substantial the moment it sits in your hand, solid, weighted, exactly the kind of tactile quality you would expect from a car proudly wearing this legendary badge on its trunk, a small reminder that every single detail on this build was considered carefully before it made the final cut. Up near the top of the doors, the side mirrors continue that same aggressive design language perfectly. Aerodynamic housings with integrated turn signal strips built right into the edge, angled sharply backward to slice cleanly through the air and reduce drag at higher speeds, because a genuinely serious performance car has to think carefully about airflow across every single panel, not just the ones people notice first. Now let's swing all the way around to the rear of the car, because these taillights are honestly going to be a real showstopper for most people watching. A full-width light bar connecting both sides of the rear end seamlessly, glowing a deep red the instant you touch the brake pedal, giving the GTO an unmistakable identity when it's pulling away and disappearing into your rear-view mirror. Modern in its execution, clean in its design, yet still unmistakably muscle car in its overall attitude and presence. Dual exhaust pipes finished in polished stainless steel, angled slightly outward from the rear bumper, positioned precisely to deliver that deep, aggressive rumble the GTO nameplate has always been famous for since the very beginning. The kind of sound that genuinely turns heads on the street before the car has even fully come into view around the corner. Right in the very center of it all, sitting proudly between the taillights, the emblem, the GTO badge itself, simple in its lettering, bold in its presence, instantly connecting this modern concept back to decades and decades of racing heritage and street legend status. A small piece of chrome quietly carrying an enormous amount of history on its shoulders. And honestly, seeing that badge glint in the sunlight is enough to give any true muscle car fan a small chill. Alright, let's go ahead and open the door and step inside now, because the exterior was really just the introduction to this story. The cabin is genuinely where this entire concept starts to tell you something new. The dashboard sweeps dramatically across the interior in a clean, driver-focused layout, soft touch materials wrapping around nearly every visible surface you can reach. sharp horizontal lines giving the whole cockpit a wide, low, and purposeful feeling. Nothing here feels wasted. Everything is angled directly toward the person sitting behind the wheel. A cockpit designed for someone who actually wants to drive, not just be driven around. Speaking of which, go ahead and grab this steering wheel, flat-bottomed for extra thigh clearance, wrapped tightly in perforated leather for grip, paddle shifters mounted right behind it within easy reach, thick-rimmed for a confident, secure grip through every single corner. This is a wheel that was clearly built for serious driving, not just casual steering. Right behind that wheel, the digital instrument cluster comes alive with a burst of color, crisp, fully configurable, switching smoothly between different display modes depending entirely on your current driving style. A center-mounted tachometer that redlines dramatically the very moment you push this thing hard, giving you exactly the information you need in a single quick glance down. Just off to the side of that, the infotainment screen sits angled slightly toward the driver, bright, responsive, and running a clean, modern interface that feels light years ahead of anything the original 1960s or even 2000-era GTO could have ever dreamed of having. Navigation, live performance data, and media controls all sitting right there at your fingertips, blending old-school muscle with genuinely new-school technology in one seamless screen. Down on the center console, everything is laid out with real intention behind it. Drive mode selectors sit within easy reach. Climate controls are grouped logically together, all finished in a tasteful mix of brushed metal and soft-touch black plastic, and right in the middle of it all, the gear shifter itself, short throw, nicely weighted, finished in a combination of leather and cool metal. The kind of shifter that genuinely makes you want to row through the gears manually just for the pure feeling of it in your palm. Slide into the front seats now and you immediately understand that this car means serious business. Deep, heavily bolstered bucket seats designed specifically to hold your body firmly in place through hard, aggressive cornering. Contrast stitching running neatly down the center of each seat, a mix of sport comfort and genuine track focus that somehow manages to work together perfectly in one single design. Ambient lighting, gently washing the interior in a soft, inviting glow. Fully customizable color strips tracing along the dash and down the door panels, turning this cockpit into something that genuinely feels almost cinematic once the sun finally goes down outside. The kind of atmosphere that makes even a short night drive feel like a special occasion. And please don't overlook these door panels either, wrapped generously in premium leather material. Precise contrast stitching running in clean, parallel lines across the surface, soft padded armrests positioned perfectly for long drives. Every single touch point here engineered carefully to feel genuinely expensive, because a modern GTO should never just perform like a true flagship. It should feel like one every single time you close that solid door behind you. Now, let's finally talk about what actually matters most with a legendary name like this one, raw performance, because a GTO without serious power sitting under the hood would honestly just be wearing an empty costume for show. Pop the hood open and take a good look at this engine bay. Clean, tightly organized. A carbon fiber strut brace running proudly across the top of the engine. Brightly finished components immediately signaling to anyone looking under this hood that this is not a car built purely for quiet grocery runs around town. This bay was engineered to be seen just as much as it was engineered to perform. And right here, sitting low and centered in the chassis, the engine itself, a powerful, high-output V8 that forms the true heart of the entire machine. A polished intake manifold catching the light beautifully. An aggressive cold air intake routing straight down to the throttle body below. Every single component positioned here with genuine motorsport-level precision. And it is exactly the kind of powertrain that would make the GTO nameplate proud all over again after all these years away. The kind of sound and fury that reminds you exactly why muscle cars became legends in the first place. From that aggressive front grille all the way back to this thunderous V8 heartbeat under the hood. This imagined Pontiac GTO concept brings together everything that made the original legendary decades ago and wraps it entirely in a modern premium execution that finally answers the question so many fans have been asking for years now. So now we genuinely want to know what you think. Would you personally want to see a real GTO revival built exactly like this one? Drop your honest thoughts down in the comment section below right now. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a build breakdown like this one again in the future. And as always, we will see you in the very next video right here on Prime Car Culture, where legendary machines like this one always find their way back onto the screen.